Hey, I'm James from Smoking Dad Barbecue, and today we are talking about why the Kamado Joe DoJoe actually makes an amazing smoking accessory. Let me fill you in. So I recently posted a reel on my Instagram channel where I showed using the Kamado Joe DoJoe as a smoker accessory as part of a promotional campaign for Wild Fork. So I smoked some beef ribs in the DoJoe, but that sparked so many comments and questions and emails from a few folks who are really interested in knowing more. So today I'm going to do a bit of a behind the scenes on my beef rib cook using the DoJoe accessory as a smoker. And if you're interested in doing the same, I'll give you all the details and information that you need to know as to how and why I picked the DoJoe and how to set it up for a smoking result. So starting with the setup, just like normal, what you want to do is build a nice hot fire down in the center. So I put a bit of smoking wood in here, more than what I would do if I was doing pizza. It would be exactly how I would set up for beef ribs, regardless of the DoJoe setup being there. After we covered up that smoking wood with some fresh Fogo, I used my Grill Blazer grill gun and fired that up. And I wanted to wait till everything is heat soaked. So I let the dome come up to about 400 degrees Fahrenheit, so it was nice and hot to the touch, and then install the DoJoe accessory. Be sure at this point that you close your top vent. If you don't do this, and I've repeated this, sorry if you've heard it already before, but the question comes up so often, if you don't close your control tower top, all that heat is just racing out the top, and you can actually burn through a good amount of your entire basket of charcoal and never get the desired temperature that you want. When you close the control tower top, it's going to force that air to come out the front of the DoJoe, which is exactly the experience that I was after. One of the things that I love about cooking on my offset smokers is this direct offset style where we have our firebox off to the side and you get the hot smoke rolling over the top of our food. And that's what's inspired me lately to start playing with the DoJoe as a smoker accessory, because that's exactly the airflow pattern that we get inside the DoJoe, where our heat comes up, has nowhere to go but be forced back down and exit out the front. And this has been working a treat on everything that I've tested it with. So that's what the game plan was for these beef ribs. Get our temperature up, set it at smoking temperatures to about 300 degrees Fahrenheit, install our beef ribs on a food safe surface. So I used a Lodge cast iron pan so that I could easily spin things around to make sure we are cooking everything nice and even. And in about 3 hours time, we reach an internal temperature. And that's when I use my Chef's Temp Final Touch in order to confirm the internal temperature between the bones, making sure not to hit the bones, but I want to see about 185 degrees Fahrenheit. 185 to 190 is still going to be a bite through temperature. If we were to go to 203 to 207, that would be fall off the bone. But I want just a little bit of bite. So that's my preferred temperature for pulling something like beef ribs. Let those rest for about 30 minutes and then you're able to slice into them and serve. And you can see, just looking at the beef ribs that we did on the DoJoe, we got an amazing smoke ring. So this only happens when we have, again, good smoke and lots of air volume, just like we do on an offset smoker. The profile of the smoke is what I have been most impressed with. Maybe the analogy I'll try and use to explain this, hope it makes sense, but smoke, if you imagine it of like a perfume where you spray it in the air and you walk through it, this is what many other smoker categories do in terms of adding some smoke flavor. The offset, it's like a salt brine. So if we use salt as the analogy here, if you just put some salt on your steak and cook it, you've got a little bit of salt flavor on the outside. If you do what's called the overnight dry brine, where you put your same amount of salt on, but you do it a day in advance and leave it in the refrigerator, that gives time for the salt to work all the way through. The steak that's been salt dry brined is not more salty than the steak that wasn't dry brined, but you're getting the benefit of that salt all the way through, really enhancing the natural flavor of whatever protein you're cooking. And this is what the offset smoker does with smoke. It's not necessarily more smoky per se, it's incredibly clean smoke, but it penetrates far more deeply, and that is the smoke penetration effect that I've been trying to experiment with and achieve with the DoJoe. And so far, every test that I've put it through, I've been incredibly happy with the results. So I think we're on to something. I'll do a future video, and don't worry, in landscape mode versus trying to transpose an Instagram reel to a YouTube video, but I think this is worthwhile sharing, A, because of the number of questions, and B, I'm super excited about it and want to let you in on a couple other future videos that I'll be recording and experiments moving forward. That's it for today though. I'm James from Smoking Dad Barbecue signing off. Remember, don't be afraid to fire it up.